Oh, well, gents, we're all Hot Wheels collectors here. So what's your favorite casting?
Well, my favorite Hot Wheels cars are some of those rare ones you've ever seen. This 83 Silverado, this Lamborghini Scion, this Pan Am Toyota Supra, a Honda Civic. This one also, by the way, is a super treasure hunt. And my dream car, a Porsche 911 GT3. Beat that.
My favorite castings are all these castings that you can't have.
My favorite casting is the Diora. Check this one out. It's got the Spectra Flame paint and the red line tires, unlike what any of your stupid castings have.
Oh, you like the Dior? That's a great casting, but I like the Dior too a little bit more.
Oh, hell no. That is not the real Diora. That's not from the real Hot Wheels era, the red lines.
Settle down here. Well, you know what? I think I got the best castings here. Synchro from Acceleracers. Do you even know what Acceleracers are? I've got a Speed Machine Mitsubishi Lancer. Didn't get your hands on that one, did you? And I got a Nissan 350Z from my childhood. And best of all, I was lucky enough to find one of these on the pegs, the Nissan Skyline R34 GTR Liberty Walk Chase.
Ha 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 ha! You want this? Here you go.
Oh, you have an extra one of those? How much is it?
$250.
So what's your favorite era of Hot Wheels?
The red lines are the best era by far. If it wasn't for the red lines, you guys wouldn't have any cars in your collection.
My favorite era is this era because the cars on the pegs now can be had for $1 and at sticker price and be sold for the maximum profit to you idiots.
You stupid son of a... You're making this hobby a disaster for everybody.
Anyone need one of these? Trying to find one, huh?
Oh, get out of here! Get out of here!
Get that out of here.
Oh, shut the f*** up.
So actually I'm going to be at the Hot Wheels Legends Tour for the first time, May 17th in Charlotte. So if you guys are going to be there, definitely, come say hi. I'd love to talk to you guys about Hot Wheels and all that good stuff. So Legends Tour, May 17th, you guys can meet me there. As you can see in the previous clip right there are a lot of different characters that are in the Hot Wheels scene. So today I'm gonna break down 5 of the most common characters that you see on a day-to-day basis in the Hot Wheels scene. Now, whether you're at the store looking at the pegs and you see one of these people come by, whether you're in a forum like on a Facebook group or on a Discord, whether you're at a trade show, whether you know one of these people personally, I can guarantee you that every single person that you know that's a Hot Wheels collector can fit in one of these 5 categories. So I'm gonna go through them. I'm gonna describe what these people are like and what their collector tendencies are. And then you can decide if the people you know and the people you've run across, where do they fit in these different categories. So definitely like and subscribe to the channel for Hot Wheels topical content like this. And definitely drop down your opinions down in the comments below. And if I did miss anybody, what do you guys think? Now, granted, these are pretty broad categories that I'm gonna be talking about here, but you can certainly leave your opinions down below. So let's get into it. Collector number 1 we're gonna talk about is the old man / red line collector. So this type of person right now, in terms of their age, they're at least 50, probably a bit higher in age than that. And these guys grew up with the red lines, or maybe they grew up with black wall tire cars or something like that. So some of the early age Hot Wheels, right? And they have an opinion that a lot of the cars nowadays kind of suck, and that the cars from their era were much better because maybe they had better paint jobs, or their castings were heavier, or maybe they don't like the designs of today, or probably they just don't like cars of today in general. Usually these guys, if they're gonna buy modern castings, they'll buy muscle cars, or maybe they'll buy cars that are flashbacks from their era, right? Some of those like vintage sets or something like this. Those guys, they've been in the hobby a very, very, very long time, and they are not afraid to tell you about Hot Wheels and how they were in this game much longer than you were. Hot Wheels is in a very interesting point in time where Hot Wheels itself is in its mid-50s. I think this is the 57th year of Hot Wheels. So when you think about it, we have multiple generations of people that grew up with Hot Wheels. You know, we have people that are in their 60s all the way up until little kids all into Hot Wheels at the same time, right? And we've never had more collectors in theory than now, and more age groups that are covered than now. So that these guys right now, they want to make sure that you know that you don't know nothing about Hot Wheels at all. They'll tell you how many cars they have in their collection, how much their collection is worth, and how the Hot Wheels nowadays are not that good. They'll tell you about what the Hot Wheels used to be like in their day and how they were so much better, right? Pretty much kind of putting down the current eras of Hot Wheels, and that they were the only ones who had it good, right? These guys, they probably in their basement that is part of a home that they own. I will say they are homeowners most of the time. They'll have a basement with shelves that contain, you know, the different castings that they have. So you might have seen like one of these guys here. They're balding, they're graying, they got Bad to the Bone as their ringtone. You'll see these guys in the Hot Wheels aisle. They'll be slowly strutting their way to the pegs, and you'll see these guys at a trade show talking to you about how their era was so much better than yours. So that is the old head / redline mans. The second person in this list here is what we'll call the car guy. And the car guy is essentially somebody who was into cars and then got into Hot Wheels through that. So they liked real life cars, whether that would be through owning a real car or maybe video games or movies or something like that. Essentially coming into Hot Wheels from another medium. Not somebody who got into cars because they loved Hot Wheels, but because they loved real life cars, and now they can have something in their house that replicates the real life cars. So these guys, first of all, they hate anything that's not licensed. It has to be licensed, right? These guys, I would also say, are the most susceptible to buying anything and everything that's licensed on the peg. So these are the guys that are the most susceptible to having way too many castings in their collection that they cannot handle. They'll have a bunch of sealed cars on their wall that I think looks like a terrible look personally. I think that's like one of the worst looks when you have all these die-cast Hot Wheels carded cars on your wall. These guys, they buy quality over quantity. Now, I do like these guys quite a bit because they do know quite a lot about the real life cars, right? For me, I actually liked Hot Wheels more than like the real life cars even a lot of the time. So these guys can at least give me the details that like I'm missing, which I do appreciate. In terms of the age of this person, it kind of could vary. I would say that the youngest people in this group probably are in their teenage years, and then the oldest will be like maybe young parenting age. I wouldn't put these guys in like the red line, like old man's group. I think that they don't really have people that would truly like fit into this category right here. These guys will definitely talk about their real life car, right? And all the things that they're doing to their real life car. I would also say that I think for someone who's like more of a seasoned collector, if you see something that's licensed, you're not gonna kind of have like hard eyes over it, right? Like I think you can understand like where it comes from. Do I need it? Do I not? Does it fit my collection? These sort of things. Whereas the car guys, I would say, are the type of guys that the scalpers really like, for example, because they can just put up anything licensed and these car guys will go nuts for it and they'll just buy it up, right? They will maybe, not all, but some might distance themselves away from saying that they collect Hot Wheels and the fact that they're toys. These are the type of guys that would say that they're die-cast models, they're model cars, not toys. And they're not collecting, they're not a Hot Wheels person, they're more so a car person, and they're collecting models of cars. There is a difference. They don't acknowledge all the time that these are toys at the end of the day. So that is the car guy. Let's talk about the scalper. Everybody's favorite person, the scalper, the scalpy. So what is this person in the hobby for? Number one, first and foremost, they're in it for the money. Do not get it twisted. They're in there to either make a quick buck or a long-term investment, okay? So the people who are trying to make a quick buck, these are the type of guys that will put their cars on eBay right away, right after they find them on the pegs. They want to take the $1 car and turn it into a $2 car, right? Now, there is a second dimension to this, which is the hoarder scalper, the investor scalper, as they'll call them. The hoarder scalper will come in there, they'll hoard a ton of Hot Wheels, they'll take up way too much space in their place, they'll be waiting for these cars to increase in value, and then eventually they will sell them off. Well, their goal is to sell them off for maximum profit, right? Here's the problem a lot of the time. These guys will amass collections that are way too big for them to handle. And guess what? They'll end up selling their collection at a cut price to a hobby shop a lot of the time. So they'll hoard all these cars, take them out of the ecosystem of collectors, and yet they'll sell them for maybe market value, less than market value. They won't usually get all they can get out of their collection. Now, we all hate these guys. A lot of them have connections with the big box stores and the employees there. They'll brag to you about some of the plugs that they've got, right? I used to know this guy who was running a store at a flea market in my city. So I used to see him all the time on the pegs, right? He was gonna go there and scalp, right? And if you called him out, he'd be like, no, I'm not scalping, I'm not hoarding the cars, right? And then he would proceed to like point you in the direction of his like Instagram store and his like real life store of like where to get the cars that he's like scalping from you, and is essentially doubling, tripling, quadrupling, whatever the price, right? And it's so sad to see these guys like in the store. You know, your whole life revolves around, oh, when's the next case gonna drop? When's the next case gonna drop? Oh my God, when can I make sure that I get the super treasure hunt before it hits the pegs? And when can I brag to everybody that I found 6 super treasure hunts? You take all the fun out of the hobby. These guys are a cancer to our ecosystem. They are a cancer to our collecting hobby. For you guys who are scalpers out there, get a job, get a life, get a woman, get something else to occupy your time, because you are wasting your time in just making people upset, okay? And when your life is all said and done, man, this is not the part of the hobby that you will remember. You won't remember the little bit of money that you might have made here. You would remember about the people that you met, the castings that you owned, the time that you got to spend around your collection, and all the great joy it brought you, not about the dollars that came after it. So that is a scalper, everybody's least favorite person that's in the hobby. Now, I'm gonna talk about a minority of us. That's gonna be the 2000s kid and the person who grew up with the Hot Wheels media. This is where I kind of fall in right here, okay? So I will preface this by saying that we do like real life cars. I do love real life cars, but I got into cars through Hot Wheels and through diecast cars, right? I got into cars because of some of the Hot Wheels video games, the Hot Wheels animated series, right? These sort of things, these parts of media that got me into Hot Wheels, racing cars down Hot Wheels tracks. We are really Hot Wheels people. We like a good fantasy casting. We like a good licensed casting too, by the way. We have created a small but awesome community of true Hot Wheels fans. You know, the Red Line guys, they're, I would say, still very true Hot Wheels fans. They love this hobby through and through, right? And we like it in the same way, but we grew up in a totally different era where the cars looked totally different. There was media that was out, the tracks looked different, the brand was different, the identity was different. So we kind of grew up with that in one of the prime eras of Hot Wheels. So people who like things like the World Race, Acceleracers, they're definitely a part of this hobby, right? I think the biggest flex that you might have if you're talking to somebody who's in this community, if they own like the master set of an Acceleracers or World Race series, like I think that would probably be the thing that would be like the biggest eyebrow raiser, right? If the Dior 2 is their favorite casting, there's a very good chance that they would actually fall into this tier right here. And quite frankly, these are the types of people that we're gonna be the ones that carry this hobby forward. If you'd see us, one of us at the pegs, we're a very rare breed, but certainly ask us what our favorite casting is, because more than likely it will be a fancy casting, right? So we have a lot to offer this community. There's definitely a lot of great channels that you can check out here on YouTube. You know, you can go and ask this person, what's your favorite wheel? They might say a CM6 wheel, a CM5 wheel, something like that, right? A faster than ever nickel-plated wheel, something like this. They might say that's their favorite wheel. And what's their favorite series? It could be something like World Race, Accelerator, Speed Machines, series like this, right? So I would say that we are the group that has the most joy about Hot Wheels. We're the ones who are probably getting frustrated the least. We're definitely like the type of person that the glass is half full. If we go to the pegs and there's a bunch of fantasy castings and we don't have one of them and we want one of them in our collection, we'll buy it, right? Whereas some of these other people might get upset if there's nothing licensed that is left on the pegs, right? But for us, there's still a lot of memories that are tied to a lot of the fantasy castings, and we can get joy out of the very small things in this hobby. Okay, the last person, and let me tell you this, don't get it twisted. This is the most important person in this hobby. It's the kid. Your average neighborhood kid. They're gonna be us. And they're gonna be the red line collector one day, right? So here would be some common guidelines and recommendations I would have. Number one, if one of these kids is your child, play Hot Wheels cars with them, play Hot Wheels tracks with them, give them Hot Wheels as gifts. Things like that would make a very big difference and make them really enjoy Hot Wheels, right? If you are someone who's going to the pegs, maybe don't buy all the cars that are on the pegs, or leave some nice castings for these kids to be able to find, right? Maybe leave that regular treasure hunt on the pegs. Maybe you don't need to buy all 4 Skylines that are on the pegs. Also, if you see a kid that's here in the Hot Wheels aisle, right? Maybe you're looking at the pegs and the kid is coming in. Let the kid choose the car that they want, right? Let them choose. If there's a kid that's at the pegs and the kid is looking at the Hot Wheels, don't barge in and take the cars. Let the kid finish, and if they take the Super Treasure Hunt, oh well, all right? You also were able to witness a kid have a great moment, right, with the hobby that they will remember forever. I've never forgotten any of the Super Treasure Hunts I found, and I've only found 6 in the wild over my whole collecting life, right? And I haven't found one in over 2 years. But I still remember every single one of them I found and where I was. And you should allow these kids to also have that moment as well. So don't always take the cars from the kids. Remember, it's the kids that will take the hobby forward. So make it as good as possible to them. That's why I worry about something, just to be off topic here, about like Pokemon, for example, where these scalpers are coming in there and they're clearing all the pegs. Well, there's nothing for the kids to buy. And then eventually the kids will get frustrated, the parents will get frustrated, and they'll find something else because it's just not worth it for them anymore, right? So we gotta make sure that we give the kids the best experience possible. And the other person and the other group of people who need to make this happen is Mattel. Mattel needs to make new media, okay? Video games, movies, animated series, things other than the cars and the tracks and the things that you see outside the pegs that kids can connect with, right? So Mattel also needs to do a good job of that and catering to kids through their whole lifespan of being a collector. From just starting to like Hot Wheels at 2 to 5 years old, they're playing with them, right? They're playing them through their, elementary school years, right? And then as a teenager, they might make that transition over to being more of a collector like I did. Guide them through that. Make models and castings that they will always like, right? Give them good memories with the brand. I think that's really what Mattel's job needs to be here. So that's the kid, and don't get it twisted. Hot Wheels, at the core, at the end of the day, it is for the kids. So treat the kids with the utmost respect and make sure that the kids have the best experience possible with this hobby if you want to see this hobby keep going into the future. So that's it. Those are the 5 different types of collectors that I have in the hobby. Now, granted, these are very broad categories to put a lot of people in. Of course, not every collector is going to be exactly the same as the next, but I do think that you can probably take every single collector and throw them in one of these 5 buckets, if I'm being honest with you. If you have any other types of people that you think are in this hobby that you'd like to call out, definitely let me know in the comment section below. I would definitely be loving to hear it. And if I get enough good ones, maybe I'll even do a part 2 to this video going forward. But thank you guys all for watching. Like and subscribe, comment, and until next time, bye-bye.